Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of our podcast. I am Julia, and I am very happy that you are here with me today. Today, we are going to talk about something very interesting and very useful for English learners. Do you know what it is? Yes. Today, we will learn how to think in English more. You might be wondering, Julia, why do I need to think in English? I can speak English slowly or translate in my head. Yes, many people do this, but thinking in English can help you speak faster, feel more confident, and understand English better. It is one of the best ways to improve your English every day. In this podcast, I will share easy and simple tips that you can use right now to start thinking in English. Don't worry, you don't need to be perfect. Even small steps every day can make a big difference. So, whether you are at home, at work, or even traveling, these tips will help you practice English in your mind. By the end of this episode, you will know how to start thinking in English naturally and make your English much better. Are you ready? Let's start and have some fun learning today. Now let's talk about why thinking in English is so important. Many English learners make a common mistake. They try to translate everything from their own language into English in their head. For example, they think in their native language first and then try to say it in English. This can take a lot of time. It can also make you feel nervous or stuck when you speak. But if you think directly in English, everything becomes easier. Your brain will start to understand English faster. You can speak more naturally, and you won't have to stop and translate words in your head. Thinking in English also helps you improve your listening and reading skills. For example, when you hear someone speaking English, if your mind is already used to thinking in English, you will understand faster. You won't need to translate every word. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you are at a cafe and someone asks you, "Do you want some coffee?" If you think in your native language first, your answer may take a few seconds and you might feel nervous. But if you think in English, you can immediately say, "Yes, please," or "No, thank you." Your response is fast, natural, and confident. So thinking in English helps you speak faster, understand better, and feel more confident. It trains your brain to work like a native English speaker. And the good news is, anyone can learn to think in English with practice. Later in this podcast, I will share easy ways to start thinking in English every day, even if you are a beginner. But first, we need to understand the challenges that stop people from thinking in English. Now, before we learn how to think in English, it is important to know some common challenges that many English learners face. The first challenge is translating everything from your own language. Many learners hear English and immediately think, "How do I say this in my language?" Then, they try to translate the answer back into English. This takes a lot of time and can make speaking slow. The second challenge is forgetting words or sentences. Sometimes you know the word, but when you want to speak, you can't remember it. This can be very frustrating. You might even stop speaking because you feel nervous. The third challenge is thinking too much about mistakes. Some learners worry a lot about making grammar or pronunciation mistakes. Because of this fear, they don't speak freely. They stay quiet and miss chances to practice English. The fourth challenge is feeling slow or stuck when speaking. You might know the answer in your mind, but because you are translating or thinking too much, your speech becomes slow. Sometimes you might even freeze and not know what to say next. But don't worry. These challenges are normal for every learner. The good news is, you can overcome them by learning to think in English directly. In the next part of this podcast, I will share simple and practical ways to start thinking in English every day. These tips will help you speak faster, remember words easily, and feel more confident. Now comes the most important part of this podcast: how to start thinking in English. I will share some simple and practical ways that you can use every day. These methods are easy, and you can start right now, even if you are a beginner. 1. Label things around you. The first way is to label things around you in English. Look at objects in your room, your house, or your office. For example, your table say table in your mind, your chair say chair, your pen say pen. Every time you see an object, think its English name. This trains your brain to connect things directly with English words, instead of translating from your language. 2. Describe your daily routine in English. The second way is to describe what you do every day in English. For example, in the morning, think, I wake up at 7 o'clock, I brush my teeth, I eat breakfast. You can do this in your mind while doing your routine. Later, you can even say it out loud. This helps you practice thinking in English naturally. 3. Use simple English sentences for your thoughts. The third way is to think in simple sentences instead of single words. For example, if you are hungry, don't just think hungry. Think, I am hungry. I want to eat some food. Or if it's raining, think, it is raining today. I need my umbrella. By practicing small sentences, you train your brain to think like a native English speaker. 4. Talk to yourself in English silently. The fourth way is to talk to yourself silently in English. You don't need anyone else. You can imagine a conversation in your mind. For example, imagine meeting a friend. Hi, how are you today? Imagine buying something. I want 2 apples, please. This is very useful because your brain gets used to thinking in English naturally. 5. Ask questions in English in your mind. Another tip is to ask yourself simple questions in English. For example, what will I eat today? What should I do after work? How do I feel right now? Then answer in English in your mind. This trains your brain to think in English automatically. Summary of these methods. So remember, you can start with these simple methods. Label objects around you. Describe your daily routine in English. Use simple sentences for your thoughts. Talk to yourself silently. Ask and answer questions in English in your mind. Even if you practice 5 to 10 minutes every day, you will see a big improvement. Slowly, your mind will start thinking in English naturally, and speaking will feel easier. Now that we know some simple ways to start thinking in English, let's talk about a fun and very effective method: using your imagination and storytelling. Your brain loves stories. When you imagine things in English, you practice English naturally, and it becomes easier to think and speak. 1. Imagine simple daily situations. You can start by imagining simple situations in your life. For example, you are at a cafe. Think in English. I am sitting at a table. I want to order a coffee. The waiter is coming. I say, I want a coffee, please. You are shopping. Think, I see a shirt. It is blue. I like it. I ask, how much is this shirt? By imagining these situations, your brain practices English automatically, without translating from your language. 2. Create short stories in your mind. You can also make up short stories in English. For example, yesterday I went to the park. I saw a dog. The dog was very friendly. I played with it for 10 minutes. Or, tomorrow I will go to the market. I will buy apples and bread. I will meet my friend there. These stories don't have to be perfect. They just help your brain think in English. The more you imagine, the easier it becomes to form sentences naturally. 3. Combine imagination with daily practice. You can also combine this with the methods we learned before. While walking, imagine the things around you and describe them in English. While waiting for a bus, imagine a conversation you might have with a friend. This method is fun and very powerful because it trains your brain to think, speak, and even dream in English over time. Remember, the key is practice every day. Even a few minutes of imagining or storytelling in English can make a big difference. Another very effective way to think in English more is to use English media. English media means things like podcasts, videos, movies, TV shows, music, or books in English. When you listen, watch, or read in English, your brain starts to understand English naturally. You also learn how native speakers think, talk, and express ideas. 1. Listen to English podcasts or music. You can listen to a short podcast or a song in English every day. Don't worry if you don't understand everything at first. Just listen and try to think in English. For example, listen to a podcast about daily life. In your mind, repeat the sentences or imagine what you would say in that situation. When you listen to music, try to think about the meaning of the lyrics in English, not your language. 2. Watch movies or videos in English. Watching English shows or movies is also very helpful. Here's what you can do. Watch short videos first, maybe 2 to 5 minutes. Listen carefully and try to repeat in your mind what the people say. Imagine yourself speaking like the characters. For example, if a character says, "Hello, how are you?" think, "I can say this too." 3. Read short stories or simple articles. Reading English texts is another good way. You can start with children's stories or simple articles. While reading, think in English. The boy is playing with a dog. I like this story. I imagine it in my mind in English. By combining listening, watching, and reading, you train your brain to think in English naturally. Summary. Remember, the key is daily practice. Even 10 to 15 minutes a day of listening, watching, or reading in English can help your brain get used to English thinking. The more you use English media, the faster you will think, understand, and speak English naturally. Now that we know how to think in English, let's talk about daily practice tips. Daily practice is very important because thinking in English becomes easier only when you do it every day. 1. Practice a little. Every day. You don't need to spend hours. Even 10 to 15 minutes every day is enough. The important thing is to practice regularly, not for a long time once in a while. 2. Start small and simple. Begin with simple sentences. Don't worry about grammar or mistakes. For example, you can think, "I am drinking water," "I am sitting in my room," "The sun is shining." These small sentences help your brain get used to thinking in English naturally. 3. Keep a notebook or phone notes. You can write down new words, sentences, or thoughts in English. Later, you can read them and practice thinking about them in your mind. 4. Speak to yourself. Try talking to yourself in English even for a few minutes. It can be silent in your mind or out loud. For example, "I am going to the market. I need to buy apples. I will cook dinner now. I need rice and vegetables." This is a simple way to train your brain to think in English like a native speaker. 5. Be patient and consistent. Remember, thinking in English takes time. Don't give up if it feels difficult at first. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Now, before we finish, I want to share some motivation and encouragement with you. Learning to think in English is not always easy. Sometimes you may feel slow or nervous. Sometimes you may forget words or make mistakes. That is completely normal. Every English learner faces these challenges. The most important thing is to keep practicing every day, even a little bit. Remember, small steps every day lead to big improvements over time. Don't be afraid of mistakes. They are a natural part of learning. Every mistake is a chance to learn and get better. Think about this. If you practice thinking in English every day, soon your brain will start to think, understand, and speak in English naturally. You will notice that conversations become easier, your confidence grows, and you can express yourself clearly. So, always remind yourself, "I am learning every day. I can think in English. I will get better and better." Believe in yourself and your ability. With patience, daily practice, and a positive mindset, you can make English thinking a natural habit. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. I hope you found these tips helpful and easy to use. Remember, thinking in English every day is one of the best ways to improve your English. Start small, practice a little every day, and be patient with yourself. Even 5 to 10 minutes a day can make a big difference over time. I encourage you to try the methods we discussed today: labeling objects, describing your routine, imagining situations, using English media, and talking to yourself in English. If you keep practicing, soon you will think in English naturally and speak more confidently. Thank you again for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Goodbye, and keep thinking in English.